Welcome back. A historic auto workers strike is now underway in the U.S. CNN's Gloria Pazmino is joining us live in Detroit with an update on the thousands of United Auto Workers who are currently on the picket lines. Good morning, Gloria. If you could tell us a little bit about the mood there. We just spoke to you off camera briefly for a minute, and it's quite loud. You're hearing the honking, and you see the picketers behind you as well.
That's right, Tammie, and it's all in support of these workers. We are standing in front of one of Ford's manufacturing plants here in Wayne, Michigan, and this is one of the three local unions that the auto workers union said last night would be going on strike. That contract expired after the auto industry and the union was unable to come into an agreement, and so now they are telling their workers to walk off the job. Now, there's about 3,000 people that work at this plant here behind me. Some of them are currently standing on that picket line. Some of them have been here since last night. I spoke to a woman who told me she's been here since 11 o'clock last night. She's still here. She's cold, she's tired, she's hungry, but she is willing to go on as long as it takes. We're in the middle of what is now a historic strike here in the United States, and a historic moment. Never before had the union struck against the automakers all at once. The big three is what we call them here. You have Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, the parent company of Chrysler. Never before had they struck against the three of them all at once. So it looks like negotiations are far from over. And we've also been told by the union leadership they do not plan on negotiating today. They will be picketing alongside workers in a show of solidarity. So it looks like a resolution is not quite in the horizon just yet. Tammie?
Now, Gloria, it seems as if there is a bit of a strategy to the picketing. Not all plants from the big three are shut down right now. It's a small amount. Can you tell us a little bit more about their plans right now in terms of how they're going to possibly progress the strike as we go along?
Yeah, and you're so right in calling it a strategy. The union has made it very clear that they're doing this on purpose. They're calling it a stand-up strike, and it takes from the sit-down strikes of many years ago, many of the strikes that really gave birth to the labor movement here in the United States. They're calling this a stand-up strike, and what they're doing is, instead of everyone walking off the job at once, many plants across the entire country, the union is calling on specific locals to walk out. And they say they're doing this because they want to keep the automakers guessing about when and where those workers are going to be walking out. So as we stand here today, in total, there are about 13,000 workers across three different plants around the country that are currently striking. But we expect that to potentially grow more and more as they continue to negotiate, and if they don't get to a deal soon. The union president, Shawn Fain, has also made it very clear that an all-out strike is still very much an option that is on the table. So it could mean that at some point, as these negotiations continue, that we may see the entirety of the United Auto Workers union walk out. We're talking about 145,000 workers across the entire country.
And lastly, you did say that there won't be any negotiations today. We'll see what happens over the weekend. But what are some of the sticking points? We know that one request is one that stood out, requesting a 4-day work week.
Yeah, you know, the union has made a very ambitious set of demands here, and that's not an accident. The union president has said that it is now the time for workers to make up everything that they have lost in the last several years. He's talking about all of the concessions that the union made back in 2008 when the automakers were bailed out during the economic recession here in the United States. So he says the workers made concessions, and now it's time to get some of those benefits back because the auto industry here in the United States has been thriving, making record profits. So they've asked for a 40% salary increase. And the automakers have made it clear that they cannot afford that. That is one primary sticking point. You mentioned the work-life balance aspect of all of this. That is another big fight in all of this. The union says that many of their workers are working 10, 12, 11-hour days, and that people are not getting time to rest. They're not getting time off. And that has a serious impacts on people's work, life, and family balance. So that is one proposal they have made, a 4-day work week, capping the amount of overtime that people can do, and making sure that there's a real balance there. So we're talking about potential changes, not just to how the United Auto Workers work, but really to the overall labor movement here in the United States, depending on the outcome of this negotiation. If the union gets what they want, it will give a tailwind to many other unions and organizing efforts around the country. And if they don't, it could mean that it's a setback for unions and workers who are trying to organize here in the U.S.
All right. CNN's Gloria Pazmino joining us live from Wayne, Michigan this morning. Gloria, thank you so much for that.